Hello there. How's everybody doing today? You all ready for a live PC build? I am. Can you hear me? It looks like you can hear me. Say hello in chat. Looks like everything's working. Good, good, good. Hello there, Extreme Game Dinner. Hey Nat, how's your day going? Not so bad. Delivery arrived about when I hoped it would, so we can make some progress today. I was hoping it was going to be too late in the day. William, Mr. Squarepeg, Tech is amazing. Hello, hello, hello. The Moab, Paul Many Numbers, thank you for the bit on the coming soon stream. I like the music, me too. Technomax music. Surprised you got the parts? What do you mean, surprised? You surprised the courier actually bothered to turn up? Me too, slightly, but hey, what are you going to do? Williams, hello. Jinx, hello. So glad you're doing this. Should be good to watch. I've done a few live stream builds. They're always a bit of fun. Alrighty. My MRs, hello there. Lemon Sherbet Candy, hello. Paracord always, hello. How's everything looking on your end? Should look alright. Got the overhead cam, got the main cam. Should be pretty set to be able to show you what I'm doing pretty clearly. Surprised I actually went and said, here's your shit. I'm not going to just slip a note under. Yeah, well. Yeah, well. I think I've complained enough time to various couriers that they know if they try and F me over, I'm going to complain. Every time. And there's only so many complaints any driver can get before their bosses start staring at them and going, the fuck's up with that, mate? Yellow Joy-Con? Yeah, you can see I got the super wide angle lens on. You can see my desk. I've cleaned up slightly. Not a lot. Still a bunch of junk back there. Should have cleaned up. Underneath the PC case. Sorry for a bit late on asking this question. I've been on vacation for my 21st birthday. Happy birthday for that. What CPU do you plan to use? We are going for the Core i3 8100, which is the bottom end. It's the baby. So we're going for a sort of all brand new parts, all current generation brand new parts, like stuff you could buy right now without having to, you know, find second-hand parts and crap like that. But we're going sort of a low end, but still gaming capable rig. Plus, I've been curious about the new Coffee Lake i3s anyway. See how they go. And I'm going to be sort of, when this build is done, I'm going to be putting a couple of different low-end graphics cards in there and one sort of mid-range graphics card in there and see how they all measure up and where sort of the i3 starts holding them back and things like that. And we're going to test, you know, the popular games of the day, you know, the Fortnites and the PUBGs, and see how a system at this end of things can perform, and whether it performs, you know, at the 60 FPS minimum level at sort of medium, high, maybe even ultra settings, depending on what we're fiddling with and which game we're doing. Is that unlocked? No, this is the locked version. Because this is the B350 motherboard, and the B350 motherboards don't allow overclocking on the processor. You can overclock the memory. How far you overclock the memory depends on which CPU you've got in there. It's a different cap for i5, i3, or i7. But no, there was no point going for a K-Series i3 for this build because this motherboard will not let you overclock it anyway. I've already shown off this motherboard in a video. We did a little unboxing and feature set sort of talk. Grab those. Oh, come here. Stop it. Stop it. There we go. Let's have a look. Ooh. That's the first time I've actually gotten one of the new badges. MSI have changed their logo recently to get rid of they used to say like gaming up the top there, above the shield. But about 6 months ago they started rebranding and simplifying their logo. That's the first time I got one of the badges without the text on it. At least the first time I've noticed one. Do you guys actually use the badges? When you build PCs, do you use the badges? I do sometimes. Can the Mobo use older Intel chips? No. That's the unfortunate thing about the Coffee Lake chips. It's technically the same socket. Like, the socket is technically the same, but there's a, like, slightly different pins, and it needs a different chipset, and so no. Unfortunately, that's one of the most annoying things about Coffee Lake. The completely incompatible with the generation before it. So if you want Coffee Lake, you need a new motherboard, and if you've got an old, you know, the generation previous to this, the you know, the 7100 or something like that, if you want to upgrade, then it's a new motherboard, and it can't swap a new chip in, and Intel, be better, be nicer, be more like AMD. AMD have got like a 5-year plan for their current chipset and sockets. What we got here? Don't need that. Cave standoff keep out zone. What? Before installing the motherboard into the case, first install the necessary mounting. Yeah, I know. What's prevent damage to the motherboard? Any contact unnecessary? Oh, well. I must have run into some problems with mounts. I've never seen a thing like that in any motherboard box before. Tell me to watch out for the PC standoffs. Either I've never noticed it. Depends on the badge whether it looks or not. Well, there is that, of course, yeah. I've got Ryzen, so I don't know. Lol. Yeah. I do like the fact that Ryzen have a forward-facing future as far as the socket goes. Some people have gotten Coffee Lake CPUs to work under older M51 motherboards, Skylake and Kaby Lake. Yeah, I hear rumblings about that, but I don't know if you're going to run into problems because it is slightly different. They call this socket the 1151 CL, I think it is, or something like that. But I do like this motherboard. It's a good looking motherboard. I was going to use the stock cooler, but I don't think I will. I do have a spare 120mm all-in-one from the Captain 120EX. I always forget the bloody brand. Cooler Master? No, not Cooler Master, the other one. Might use that instead. I mean, we all know that the cooler that comes with Intel chips, it gets the job done. But it's noisy than it needs to be. And not as cool as it should be. So, I think for, what the... How have they... That's the weirdest box origami I've ever had to deal with. What did they do there? The whole thing comes apart. Yeah, so... Come on, you can do it. Focus, please. Well, Sony RX100 that I'm using for the secondary camera usually is a better focuser than that, but... Whatever. Whatever. Throw that away. No good to anybody. Is there a parts list? There will be on the final videos, yeah. I'll have a parts list with links and prices and everything. But I don't have a parts list prepared for the stream, so I don't have any MooBot command or anything to bring it up. What MOBO would you recommend for an i7-6700? I'm looking to swap mine that came with a pre-boot gaming system. What's wrong with the one you've got? I mean, why do you want to swap it out? What do you want to change? If you, I mean, if you're looking for advice on what motherboard to get instead of it, I need to know why the current one is unacceptable to you. Right, where are we? There's my little... Ah. Yoink. Where did I put that box? Yep. Always keep your little plastic shield safe somewhere, just in case you have to send the motherboard back. They usually won't accept it back for warranty or RMA without that little plastic shield thing. Boom, boom, Now, I'm using different memory than the memory I'm going to be suggesting in the parts list, but that's just because I've got this stuff sitting handy. So I've actually got a quad kit of Corsair's Vengeance RGB, 32 gigs in total. I'm only going to use 2 sticks for a total of 16 gigs, because that's what I usually recommend for this kind of build anyway. I'm in Australia as well. Where do you buy all these parts from? I usually go for M-Wave if I need them delivered like same day or next day. If it's not an urgent part, I will get it from PC Case Gear usually. PC Case Gear are pretty good, but they do take a few days to ship out to me because their warehouse is in Melbourne and I am in Sydney. What's the 6-pin on the middle of the motherboard? Oh, that's supplemental power for the PCI slot. So if you've got a graphics card that you're overclocking, you can actually whack some power into that, and it'll give you a little extra stability, perhaps, when you're overclocking. It's not really super helpful on a board like this, I suppose, which is a sort of low to mid-tier board. So you're probably not going to be doing that sort of extreme overclocking, but still nice to have. I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Know what I mean? Better make sure it's on the QVL. I don't know what that means. No, the CPU power for reason is this one up here. This is the 8-pin connector up here. That's for CPU power. This is a supplemental PCIe power. Does that motherboard have Wi-Fi networking built in? No, this one doesn't. There is a member of this family, it's either out or it's coming out, that will have the AC Wi-Fi built into it. MSI usually do that. They often do it with their mini ITX boards though, or ITX boards even. For some reason the built-in Wi-Fi is more common on those boards than it is on the ATX ones. It might be a use case thing. Maybe they assume if someone's got room for a bigger build, then they're going to use it hardwired anyway. But I mean, it's not like Wi-Fi cards are expensive anyway. You can get a little Wi-Fi card for like 35 bucks, or a little USB dongle if you need for about 15 bucks to get you on Wi-Fi. But not built in, unfortunately. Super weird that it's not sort of super common for Wi-Fi to be built in, I find. Let's see, I've got the RAM, got the CPU. We'll deal with the cooler. Yeah, we'll do the cooler. Might be, or at the very least we might put the back plate and mounting brackets on, just to make my life easy when it comes to putting it in the case. So yeah, I'm recycling this Gamer Storm Captain 120EX, which was on another rig. I think when I reviewed this one I put it on another rig. Really nice little cooler. Quite affordable too for an all-in-one. And looks pretty rad too. It's got a little sort of Iron Man style arc reactor light that throbs away, and I like that little clear loop that goes through there. It's nifty. A little bit fancier looking than most all-in-ones. How much RAM? I'm putting in 16 gig, which is kind of the minimum I would suggest for a gaming rig these days. You can get away with 8, but I don't know, the price difference between getting...
Oh boy, oh, hey, pat on the back for this guy.
Thank you very much. Cliche as F. Chat room, can we stop for a moment and throw down some love? The blunt love if you're a sub, the purple hearts or whatever you like if you're not a sub. Appreciate that. Cliche as F, tier 1 sub coming on in. But yeah, like I was saying, the 8 gigs of RAM will save you a little bit of money, but the price difference between 8 and 16 kits these days, I don't know if it's worth saving. I'd rather just spend a little bit extra and get the 16. you'll be happier in the long run. This is all clean and still set up good. Alright. Oh, actually, I need to get some TP to clean that off. Ready as a paper alcohol. Qualified vendor lists. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's Corsair RAM. I've literally never, ever had or even heard about compatibility issues with Corsair RAM. So not really something I'm worried about. Man, this gunk that's on here right now was the factory grease that came with it, and it dries nasty. DDR4, DDR3, DDR4. DDR3 doesn't work in these boards, or any modern motherboard. DDR3 is gone. It has been replaced. Nobody uses it anymore. Not on new builds, anyway. Man, this is tenacious stuff. There we are. FMA Brotherhood X is new here. Hello there. How you doing? I'm sorry if the cameras get a little bit wobbly. I do have the cameras sort of attached to my monitor arms, which are attached to the desk, and the desk is not the world's most rigid desk. That's not too bad. What CPU am I putting in? I'm putting in the 8100, i3 8100. Wait, 8100? What number am I thinking of? Yeah, it's the 8100. Squeaking? Can you hear the squeaking? There we go. We're back to doing an ASMR stream, I guess. Although I don't think squeaking is one of those ASMR sounds, is it? Alright, I can put that to the side for now. Yep. And I'm reasonably certain the last board I had this on was an Intel board, so these should be spaced properly. Hey! No problemo. Oh wait, I've done that ass backwards, haven't I? I've got to take these off. Tornado Gamer!
Oh boy! Oh, hey, pat on the back! Pat on the back for this guy!
Thank you, Tornado Gamer. Spam hearts in chat for the sub. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. Guess the squeaking would depend on the girl's stream. Giggity, giggity. Actually, I was preparing some more overlays, some more video pop-up things, as the motherboard, as the because I was waiting on the case and the CPU. That's the parts I was waiting on delivery date. But they arrived as I was working on that stuff, so I was going to add them to my Shovelly Joe stuff.
It's Shovelly Joe, isn't it?
That's interesting.
Shovely Joe.
That's not outputting to the right. Oh well, never mind. Doesn't matter for this stream. This is not a Shovely Joe stream. Might be a noob question, but why is AMD on the back of the Mobo? Yeah, that's about crossfire. That's about crossfire compatibility. So, if you wanted to, you could put in 2 AMD GPUs, and they would correctly crossfire, which means they work together. With NVIDIA GPUs, you don't have to have that kind of compatibility built into the motherboard itself, because the NVIDIA ones use a bridge that snaps onto the outside of the graphics cards. So that's just letting you know that you can use 2 AMD GPUs in Crossfire if you want to. What Mobo is this? This is the MSI B360 Gaming Plus. It is a brand new motherboard. It just released... wait a second. I've got those 2 upside down. I forgot about the plastic washer on the other side. Yeah, no, motherboards don't have to specifically support SLI because, yeah, it's done by... Say these are your 2 graphics cards. SLI is done with an external bridge that plugs onto the edge. In fact, I've got one here somewhere. Where is my bridge? What did I do with my bridge? There we are. So that's an SLI bridge. It plugs onto the outside of the graphics card. So that's your graphics card there. Bridge goes on there to connect the 2 graphics cards. Oh. I wonder what I've done with it. That's gone forever. Tech is amazing. Just added you to my auto host. Thank you, Tech. Actually, I still haven't set up auto host. I really should get around to that, shouldn't I? I really should be a better Twitch citizen. Red Falcon, hello there. There we go. Backplate correctly installed. Now, suppose we should think about which orientation we want this to sit in. Go that way, which we've got plenty of clearance with. Probably even go that side actually. Might make life a bit easy. Or go like that. Might try that way actually. Yeah. Yeah. That way the little glowy pipe thing is symmetrical. And the cables sure the like that. We might have to adjust that depending on how much space I've got in the case. But we will burn that bridge when we come to it. Speaking of the case, I think it might be time to actually get the case out of its box. I'm building in a Masterbox Lite 5. I've done one build in a Masterbox before, which is that big, well, the first version of the Threadripper rig actually. That was in one of the Masterbox big ones. It's the Big 5. This is the Lite. It's a cut down version. inexpensive, and Masterbox have a very good reputation. Cooler Master, I should say, have a very good reputation for their cases. Oh. All of the hair on my legs is standing on end because of the static. As I pulled that out of the box there, oh, my leg hair just went. That felt very strange. Another cooler smudge. Yeah, it's a nice cooler. I've got a couple of them actually. I've used them in a couple of different builds. They're both sitting idle at the moment, so I don't know what I'm going to do with the other one yet, but let's see. Alrighty. Oh, that's very light. It's very, very light. I guess that's why they put the word light in the name. Alrighty, here we are. So I do like the sort of swooping design of this. This is plastic side panel, not tempered glass like in the big boy version of the case. But that's fine. I wanted a budget appropriate case, but I didn't want it to look shit. And this seemed like a super good option. It's like 59 bucks for the case. How much was it? Well, the PC itself, the sort of core PC, it's about 500 bucks worth of parts, American. But that's not counting the graphics card, because I'm going to be testing with a few different graphics cards as part of the video series that follows on from this build. So calling it a $500 PC is a bit of a cheat, but that sort of $500 PC is it's one of those gimmick things that a lot of PC builders on YouTube do. For some reason, someone decided somewhere along the line that that was a magic number to try and hit. So it's $500 plus whichever graphics card we decide to finalize on. What's the PC build for? It's for, because I got sent a motherboard for review. Oh. I forgot about that. So this case, you see how it's got the red accents on the top vents and stuff? You get alternates. You've got black, you've got white, and I believe, if I remember correctly, they supply the files so you can 3D print these. You can 3D print your own in whatever color and material you like. If I remember correctly. I think that's the way it's done. I'll just hit the floor, by the way. Oh, that was fantastic. I knocked my open knife off the table and it bounced right next to my foot. I thought it was a screwdriver. If this had fell off the desk that way, we'd be having a very different conversation right now. We'd be ending the stream and I would be calling a doctor. I'm going to stick with the red because it's MSI motherboard. It's got red on it anyway. Alright. That fan looks a bit shit. I think we'll swap that out. How do we get into the basement? Any RGB? Yeah, I think we're going to wind up with some RGB. I've got some strips handy. And like I said, I'm going to swap out that back vent fan because it looks a bit shit. And the only fans I've got spare, I think, are some... Yeah, I've got a Corsair one. Oh yeah, I've got a red Corsair fan over there, with the transparent blades that lights up red and stuff. That will do just fine. So yeah, we'll do some colors. We'll do some lights. Whew. Do you do intake or outtake with the usually out. I might I think there's some mounts on the front here. I'll probably put the Iowa on the front, so as it draws air in, and will exhaust out the back. We don't need to go too nuts with the cooling on a i3 system. I might put a third fan in. I might not. We'll see. Oh, thank goodness. I was kind of hoping it was going to come with cable ties, because I'm all out. I literally have 2 cable ties left. So I was really hoping the case would come with some of its own. There we are. Screw packet. Giggity. Voxer said, I use a Thermaltake Versa H15. Yeah, I've heard that case come up a few times. I haven't tried that one myself yet, though. I do like the Thermaltake cases. In fact, I nearly chose a Thermaltake case for this rig. There was an open box special on one of their sort of curved top ones, you know, with the glass, the panel, the window curves at the top. Does that PC in the back have any filtration? Lol. Doesn't need any filtration, it's an open case. Alright, I'm just gonna... Where are we? We'll start by popping in the power supply. Fan at the bottom. No? Alright. So the lip for the back panel isn't quite enough room, but it does have a removable mount panel on the back here. It's a very nice lightweight case, I like it. Easy to move around. Alright. Does this matter which way up it goes? I'll use symmetrical. You are perfectly symmetrical, so alright. I don't need to sweat that I've got it upside down. I can just start screwing. Will you please just sit flat? Thank you. What CPU core do you plan to use? I'm using the Captain 120EX. Yep. Rengarza, hello there. Usually to the channel, welcome aboard. Gonna start building a computer soon. You've used laptops forever? Yeah. I really like laptops. They're super convenient, but there comes a point where the limitations outweigh the convenience. Like, I use a laptop to edit on. I use a MacBook Pro to make my videos. And that is the convenient option for me because Final Cut Pro X is my choice of editing software. There's nothing as good as it anywhere on the market as far as I'm concerned. And being a laptop means I can take it with me on the road, so when I'm in a hotel room on a trip, I can start my edits, input my footage, do a lot of kind of crap. There's no doubt that a desktop PC would do a better job at editing because I'd have more power at my fingertips. Render faster, all that kind of crap. But There's a balance to be struck between convenience and power. I'm going to have to replace the screwdriver soon. It's so old the tip is actually wearing. Cheap piece of crap. Plonk. I work at computer repair, refurbishing at my college. Low down laptops, small form factor pieces are built. Actually, I kind of like how small form factor pieces are built. So there are a few interesting engineering challenges that they have to solve. Alrighty. You didn't finish saying what this computer was for, besides saying it was a board sent to you. That's pretty much it. It was a board sent to me. We've got to test it properly, do a proper review, do some performance testing. I'm going to make a series of videos about the performance of the i3 Coffee Lake chip as a gaming option when it comes paired with various different graphics cards. So it's a machine for me to make other videos about in various factors and reasons. It's not going to be a PC that becomes part of my workflow. It will be dismantled a month or two down the track once I've done everything I need to do with it. I will recycle the parts into other builds. But yeah, as it stands, it's a PC I'm building for the sake of experiment, testing, making content. Are you ready for this week's Windows 10 update? Oh, was that this week? Shh. Is anybody ever ready for a Windows update? I wonder what they're going to break this time. Should test Sea of Thieves on this build. I would, but I don't own Sea of Thieves. And I have no intention of paying for it, because I'm just not going to play it. I wonder if I could get Rare to send me a code for the purposes of testing. Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty cheaply made fan, that one. This plastic shroud is not impressive. I mean, the components seem fine. It feels like it spins nice and smooth. But I have a better fan just sitting over there within eye shot, so why wouldn't I use it? Okay. Fan screws over there. Let's get the motherboard mounted. Oh. And here's the I/O shield. Look at me remembering to do it. Expert PC builder. It's been 2 or 3 builds since I forgot to put the shield in. We are not set up. It's interesting. Most cases come with their standoffs in a default configuration for the most common board that will go into them in this case, an ATX board, but not this one. What's up with that, Cooler Master? Thank you, Ren, for the 14 bits. It works, send it to me, I need a fan. You can probably buy a fan like that for like 12 bucks, man. It's not worth the postage. Tried PC Building Simulator? No. Why would I want to play that when I can just actually build a PC? Let's see if these was through Xbox Game Pass. Well, I don't want Xbox Game Pass, do I? I'm not renting my games, thank you very much. Hey, fish. If I want a game, I'll buy a game. It's not about price. It's about whether or not I can give a fuck about the game. And in case of Sea of Thieves, I just don't. I made a dumb decision to become a Windows Insider on the slow ring. Oh, silly boy! Couldn't pay me to be a Windows Insider on the slow ring. Or the fast ring for that matter, even worse. So far the new update only broke my touchscreen monitor driver. Fantastic. Have Intel improved the inbuilt fans for the Cover Lake series? Oh, you mean the inbox coolers? No. I don't think they've changed anything about their inbox coolers in friggin' 20 years, have they? Bye guys, it's past 9:30 and I gotta go. Alright, Average. I'll catch you next time. I am recording this. It'll probably go up on the on one of the YouTube channels. So you can always catch up later if you like. Isn't buying actually renting now? Do you software licensing? Look out. We got a pet ant. We got a pet ant in the chat. You know full well what I fucking meant. And yes, when you quote-unquote buy a game, what you're buying is a license to play it. What I meant, and you fucking know this, is I have no interest in paying a regular monthly fee to effectively rent the license to my game. I'd rather just buy the game license and have it in perpetuity without ongoing costs.
But you actually buy the license, not the...
Alright. I think we're good. I hate these little fucking doovers they put on these shields. Come on. There you go. There's the satisfying clunk sound of it locating. You know what? Maybe for the first time ever, I'm going to attach the front panel connectors before I mount the motherboard. I'm always worried that they're going to dislocate once I, oh god, I can't see what I'm doing. I'm always worried they're going to dislocate as I try and mount the motherboard, which is why I mount it first and then plug them in. But try it the other way around. See if it makes my life any easier. Because it is a relatively deep case. Crafty Karma, just show the specs. MSI B360 Gaming Plus motherboard, i3-8100, 16 gigs of Corsair RAM. And we'll get to the rest as we go. Yeah. Alright, where are we? MSI? Where's the index? Alright, you put the index on page 13. That's nice of you. Nope. Front panel connectors. I mean, these are all close to being standardized, but as far as they're good, but always double check because you can always put them around the wrong way. So he's doing what I suggested, a $500 gaming PC trying to beat the Xbox One X. This will not beat the Xbox One X. You cannot build a 4K gaming PC that will do what the Xbox One X does. It's just impractical. Not with new parts. You might be able to scrounge by if you get lucky enough with spare second-hand parts and you get a good bargain, blah 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 blah. But for new parts, if what you want is a 4K gaming rig, you're better off just buying the Xbox One X, quite honestly. Thank you, Rand, again for the bits. Yeah, like Fish says, without a good GPU you won't beat the X, and at $500 you're not getting a GPU that'll do 4K at high and ultra settings. Alright, where are we? 1 and 3 is the HDD LED. Huh? Oh. Apparently this case does not have a HD hard drive activity LED. That's the first time I've come across a case without one of those. 2 and 4 are the power LEDs, with 2 being the positive, which means this goes there. And the power switch are 6 and 8. So that one goes there. Polarity irrelevant because it's a switch. And the reset switch is 5 and 7. So it goes there. That was simple enough. Now the cables are all in my way. Here the wee! Ah, there we go. Yeah, that was easier. Never done with a screwdriver. There it is. I know this is just a creative inquiry. Can the Xbox One X hardware be modified and turned into a PC? Not really. I mean, in theory, sure, because the parts are PC parts. The CPU is basically an AMD CPU, modified, but same with the GPU, it's a AMD core, Jaguar cores, whatever it is, I think. So in theory, you could potentially have a Windows install, but practically speaking, no, because you'd have to rewrite chunks of Windows to accommodate the custom designed hardware. You wouldn't have to rewrite that much. I mean, the Xbox One X operating system is running on the code base of Windows 10. But short answer, no. Long answer is technically possible. A 1060 6GB RAM across around 520. I will be testing this rig with a 1060, but it won't be the recommended card. What I'm installing today, for the purposes of this build, is the 1050. Gigabyte GeForce 1050 2GB OC out of the box. I'll also be testing with the 1050 Ti. I also have a Gigabyte G1 Radeon RX 470 and a 460, which I'll be doing some testing with as well, because they're the other sort of low to mid budget options on the AMD side of things. But I'm pretty sure I don't have a 550 hanging around, do I? No. I might have a chat to the AMD folks and see if I can get one. I think NVIDIA is waiting on GDDR6. Not for the consumer level stuff, I don't think. It'll still be too prohibitively expensive. That'll be next year if it's anything.
Baking pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Bacon pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes. Bacon pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Bacon pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes. Bacon pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Bacon pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes. Bacon pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes.
Thank you very much, Fish. $1.30 going into the tip jar there. Thoughts on Unbox Therapy?
Unbox Therapy.
That's a very broad and general question. Was there something specific you wanted to know? Have they done something controversial recently or something? I don't generally watch them. I've seen a few other videos here and there, but I don't subscribe. Anything like that, so... There we are. That'll be a preemptive cable management. Nothing I need to know about. NVIDIA are taking the time because the current cards sell out within 2 minutes of... yeah. They're not in any position where they need to rush out a new set of cards. The existing cards are selling quite well. Hello there, Skins. How you doing? Okay, this PC run Microsoft Excel. Why would you want to run Microsoft Excel? I'm not a charts guy. Let's go get that fan. There we go. There's a proper fan. It is the... actually, I don't know what the model number of this one is. Doesn't have it printed on the sticker. It's one of the Corsair's nice ones. I think this might be one of their maglev ones. I forget. Ah, come here, you bugger. There we go. It's about there. Good screwdriver. One of the maglev ones, question mark? Yeah. They use magnets around the bearings and stuff, so it's not scientifically speaking friction free, but it's extremely low friction, which makes them very, very quiet and very, very efficient. I think I lost a screw. Oh, there it is. Will the system be able to play Doom? Should be. Should be, well, depending on which graphics card I'm testing with at the time. Even the 1050 should be able to run Doom at 1080. Probably high-ish settings. At 60 plus. Doom is nicely optimized, so it's not a devil to run. Red and black builds always look sharp. You'd always prefer blue. Well, yeah, maybe. Red and black is like... it's overdone, really. Like, there are so many red and black builds around there. But, I mean, look at the motherboard I'm using. Red and black really is your only option. Unless you go for a white build. That red and black against a white case looks really nice. But yeah, that's one of the few complaints I have about MSI. The brand colours look fantastic, but on a lot of their boards they sort of make your build options a bit limited. But then again, they've got their Arctic series as well, so if you want a more colour neutral board, you can just go for one of their Arctic boards. Crispy white. Or one of the Tomahawk boards, they're good too. Just jamming this fan cable somewhere tidy. Not bad. Alright. How do we get this front panel off? Ah! None of that. It's just got clips. Yeah, I'd be worried about breaking those. I think on the Pro case, is it Mastercase Pro? Well, the big versions of these cases, I think they're magnetically attached to these front panels instead of using the plastic clips, but it is a budget case. What do you want? You gotta compromise somewhere. Alright, now, let's see, we have enough. Don't think we do we? No. Not going to reach by doing that way. Have to go... Did I just... No, I didn't. What if we do... Can I get you to go that way for me? Nope, that's not going to work fully. And these stiff cables make life a bit difficult. Yeah, I could probably go like that without too much worry. Bit of a jank.
Hi, I'm Mr. Booby Buyer. I'll buy those boobies for 25 schmeckles.
Let's go that way for maximum tonus.
I enjoy your content. Hope to see more camera tutorials on YT.
Tutorials, eh? I can do that. I've got a little list of unfinished photography tutorials, actually. Yeah, I think we have to go that way around just to accommodate these stiffies. Blunty, do you have a film camera collection? I do. It's not huge. I've got about 6 old film cameras. I did start working on a series of videos about them once upon a time, like 3 years ago. Never got around to finishing it. Maybe I should go back to that, actually. Could be interesting. What is that cooler? Deep Cool Captain 120EX, I think, is the full name of it. Is it written on there somewhere? I think it is. Jameer says I'm about 300 AU for my first gaming PC. Ooh, 1066, yeah. 1060 is just, it's just the sweet spot, isn't it? Alright. Come here. Just bought a Voigtlander Brilliant from 1932 for $100. Jeez. That ain't bad. I'm going to need my screw pot. Giggity. I have there we go. Never throw away a screw. Giggity, giggity goo. Yeah, it should be barely long enough. Easy. Gonna bite. Hey, nice. Good. Good, 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 good. Well, big deal, heavy ability, hard to watch and type on phone at work. Fair enough, Fish. Thanks for popping in. Has Blunty posted the specs of the build anywhere? Not completely, no. There will be a YouTube video about these, or several YouTube videos about this build, which will carry the full specs list with links and prices and the whole shebang. But I was too lazy to prepare like a MooBot command to list them all for the stream. Frankly, I just didn't think of it.
Making pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Bacon pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes. Bacon pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Bacon pancakes, that's what it's gonna make.
Wait for it.
Everyone
Hello?
else was tipping, so thought I would join in. Keep up the great work. I really enjoy your content. As the previous tipper said, camera tutorials would be awesome. Smiley face.
Smiley face. Thank you very much. Tag is amazing. For the 260. Stay. Stay. Didn't catch the PSU. PSU is 650 watts. Couldn't even tell what brand it is off the top of my head. Just some cheap thing. Not too cheap, but cheapish. What would be the max you can spend on one of these and the price be good? I mean, define good price. That rig back there was built mostly from sponsored parts, but if I had to buy everything off the shelf, that's... I mean, there's a Threadripper 1950X in there, for crying out loud. That's a you know, that's a 4-digit price tag just for the CPU. Is that a Sony camera that I can see? Yep. That's a little Sony RX100 Mark II for my little close-up camera. Hello. There you go. Thermal paste. Alright, what have I got here? I've got Master Gel Pro, Cooler Master. I think it's just about empty, that one. And this is the Noctua. I think we might as well just use the Noctua, right? It's got more of this in the tube anyway. Perfect. You want to see? There we are. Actually, that camera angle makes that dollop looks bigger than it is, really. The way the light was catching it there. It's quite small. Alrighty. Actually, looks like we picked up a bit of debris there. Yeah. Let's give that a sec to evaporate away. Thumb post on the pins for that extra bit of thermal pastry, thermal transfer. Did you say a laptop with an Intel Core i7 7700 HQ, 16 GB RAM, 1050, 4 GB, good enough for gaming? Yep. A laptop with those specs will come with a 1080 screen, and the 1050 will do 1080 gaming pretty good. I mean, you won't be going to ultra settings, but you'll be happy. Ethanol on the spray? No, isopropyl alcohol. So, but close enough. Isopropyl, 99.8% pure. It is, oh geez, I'm nearly out of it too. I got that much left. I got some more soon. It's my go-to solvent for all things PC cleaning, and a great many other things as well for that matter. It is a 4K screen actually? Really? Who's selling a laptop with a 1050 in it with a 4K screen? Although I guess, yeah, MSI have a couple of models where the 4K screen is an option with the 1050, but the default model has a 1080. Either way, I mean, 1080 goes into 4K, you know, by 4. So it's not going to look weird when you game at 1080p. I like the shirt. Yeah. It's just one of those Redbubble knockoff things. It's not official Game of Thrones merchandise. It's completely dodgy, but it's a good shirt. Alright, just plugging in the fan for the cooler. Actually, where is my system fan? Where's my CPU? Alright, we're going to pump the system fan. Does this board have a specific one for the pump? Yes, it does. Good. If you're using an all-in-one cooler or custom cooling loop, and your motherboard happens to have a header specifically for the pump, I strongly suggest you use it. There's nothing different about the voltage or anything it supplies, it's just how the default settings in the BIOS and stuff affect how it treats ramping the speed. Because a pump is going to want to be treated slightly differently to a fan when it comes to the most effective way to run it. The cooling. Jeez, that's a bit of a finger curling. Yeah, no, get in there. There you go. I've got you. This is the part where I start dislocating parts of me to try and get the cable management as tidy as possible. There we are. That's tidy. You might even see that. Check that out. Beautiful. Alright, now on a step I probably should have done beforehand while judging the cable routing here. Oh no, I don't have any room there anyway. Let's get the power for the CPU happening. Ooh, I might have an issue here with the length of the cable I've got. Yeah, I do. That's concerning. Do I have an extension? I do not. Okay. Problem solving time. I'll have to try and get up behind the motherboard with this one. Oh wait, there's a gap there. I can use that. There's a gap just there I didn't spot. It's not ideal for being tidy, but yeah, still not really long enough. Go there.
Hi, I'm Mr. Booby Buyer.
Surely there must be a better way to do this.
25 schmeckles.
Your message here, 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 your message here. Your message here, your message here, your message here, your message here, you.
There actually is a cable rounding hole I just didn't see because it's way up in the corner of the case. Still don't think I have quite enough cable length to be happy here. Get out of my way. Ah, there we go. I didn't think Cooler Master would be that dumb to design a case that didn't have an appropriate cable routing for the CPU power. And they weren't that dumb. I was just too dumb to spot it. Yeah, thank you, me, for the $1.30 donation with the repeating message. Weird. Did you want to have any spend triple prices for memory and video cards? No. Fortunately, I already have those on hand from previous builds. Thank you, Skins. Ah, there it goes. Did you hear that click?
Hi, I'm Mr. Booby Buyer. I'll buy those boobies for 25 schmeckles.
Your stream is perfectly timed cause I've run out of videos to watch while messing around in Blender and Unity.
The pacing of some of those sentences read by the text-to-speech is a bit weird sometimes, isn't it? I'm messing around in Blender and Unity. Okay. Good so far. Peekaboo! Currently bidding 2 weeks of friends, getting GPUs at reasonable prices just drove me insane. Yeah, they're starting to stabilize again, but we're not quite there, are we? Laptop with the 4K display is the Dell XPS 15. 9650. Yeah, not familiar with that fella. Interesting choice though. Sometimes reminds me of GLaDOS from Portal. Yeah, a little bit. Love the Corsair Air 540. Yeah, I've never used the Air 540, but my VR rig and Devil's Crevice, which is my rig that I built a couple of years ago, both use the Air 240, which is very much like the 540, but smaller. It's a really nice case to build in. I wish it had a tempered glass thing instead of a plastic window, but that's about my only real complaint. Alright. I think we can start with the rest of the front panel stuff now, mate. Ow. Nice to watch you build this live. I'm pumped to build my second PC in a few weeks. Ooh. How long has it been since your first build? How long did you wait? Okay. USB 3.0. I hate USB 3.0 front panel headers. Look how big that thing is. Huge. And it's always just a massive cable. Big chunky thing. The cables are always stiff and difficult to fucking cable route and manage. I would love to know which committee said, yep, that's the plug we're going to standardize on for front panel headers for the motherboards for USB 3.0. I would love to meet them and punch them. Right here. Just right there in that soft spot. Guess they're sods. Front panel audio, which should be that one right there, right? Sure is. And oh, there's the front panel HDD lid. We do have one. Of course, we discover it now when it's the hardest one to plug in. Done. Hello. On the other side of that, please. Alrighty. If a SATA cable could be made to be so small, why can't USB 3? Exactly. Exactly. There is no reason on the face of the planet that USB 3 internal header power plugs need to be that huge and bulky and ridiculous. No reason at all. Have you ever had a part just disappoint you? That's a personal question. 180 a lot for 16 gigs of memory. Not if it's like fast memory. It's a dual kit or quad kit or one? I mean, it's not the cheapest you'll get it, but it's not the most expensive either. What do you think is a good budget card? 1050 Ti is probably the premium end of the budget cards. And it's worth the price difference over the 1050. I've got a video about it, actually, comparing the two side by side if you're interested, up on the main channel. But yeah, 990 is an interesting way to go as well if you're willing to sort of compromise on an older card. The 980 is a decent option. Okay, ah, there they are. Might as well use the SATA cables that came with. They're fine. Not the prettiest thing you'll ever see, but they're fine. Shoe fly. Curious what second-hand cards still with the 1050. That is MSRP. I don't know. I couldn't tell you the prices of second-hand stuff. I never really looked to it. What would you say budget premium is? Budget premium is spending just a little bit more than the budget option, but getting a worthwhile boost in performance, like 1050 versus 1050 Ti. On my shelves, there's like, what, 30, 50 bucks difference in it? Well worth the extra money. That's budget premium, as I use the term. Getting the slightly more expensive budget option, but having it be worth it. That's interesting. Just realized there's no... Oh yes, there is. I was going to say there's no 2.5 inch mounting option, but there is. But I can't get to it because it's behind the cooler now. Or can I move that to lower in the case? Yep. Should be able to mount that down here, right? Oh, I sure can. Groovy tunes. So I've got a little HyperX Savage SSD here, 120 gigabyte for the system drive. And I don't remember, but this one might already have a Windows install on it. Let's mount it upside this way. That might make my life easier or harder? No, we'll put that way. I've also got a 1TB Western Digital Black, although on the parts list I will be recommending the blue because it's a budget rig, so it makes more sense to go for the blue than the black. I need my bucket of screws again. Can you please locate? Thank you. GTX 980s are still like 300 or so, are they? Would have thought they'd come down a little bit more by now. Such is life. If you're buying a GPU, the 980 Ti is great. Yeah, I used a 980 Ti. Real nice. Used it in Devil's Crevice. In fact, the 980 Ti that I was using in Devil's Crevice for most of its life has now been built into the rig that I built for my friend Ali. For those of you who are regulars around here on the stream, you'll know her. Oh, come on, I just need one more. One more. One more. There you are. Aha. Do 980s at 260-ish. That's more like it. I was expecting somewhere around 250. Isn't that the SSD used in Devil's Crevice? It might be. Actually, I have 2 or 3 of the 120GB HyperX Savage drives. I've also got a couple of 1TB ones floating around here somewhere as well, and I think there might be one in that machine. Definitely one in that machine. But yeah, it may very well be the same drive that I used in Devil's Crevice. Couldn't tell you for sure. It's the same model at least. I can't get this to locate. What shop/website do you usually generally buy games from? If I'm buying physical, it's usually EB Games or JB Hi-Fi. If I'm buying digital, it's usually from whatever the default storefront is for that particular game. Obviously. What's the SSD for? It's for the system drive. SSD is solid state drive. It's much faster than a regular mechanical hard drive. So it makes the performance much more nippy in Windows. It also helps with games, but in budget builds, you don't really have the budget for a large SSD because they're quite expensive, relatively speaking, to hard drives. Okay. Now, see what I should have done. Is hooked up the appropriate power cables to the PSU before I mounted it in the case there, because now I can't get to them. Modular PSUs. I think if you're building a PC in 2018, SSD is necessary. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much essential. Alright. Shall I put... I think I'll put both in. I'm not going to need 8 pins of power for most graphics cards I'm going to be trying here, but I'm going to put both in just in case I do need it somewhere down the line. Oh, no, wait. Actually, that one's got both on it, doesn't it? I'll use that one. That one's got the dual-ended fella for me. In you go. Now, I think you're the one I want, right? You're the one that I want. No, you're not the one that I want. Should have been better about organizing this stuff. Not that, not that, not that. Not that one. Right, do we have a troll trying harder in the thing? Let's have a look. Yeah, we don't need that crap in here. Bye-bye. I don't know what I've done with the cable that I need. What the bloody hell have I done with it? Surely I had it here the other day when I was dismantling the PC that it came from. Well, that's certainly the wrong one, isn't it? Because that's not for this power supply. Uh-oh! Nope. Well, this could be an issue. I can't find the SATA cable that goes with this power supply. Oh wait, this one will work. Maybe. That's not what I need. Not what I need. Yeah, this should work. Right, sorry chat, I'm back with you. Question, if you're going for a $500 build, will you get more performance from an i3 8100 and an i3 2200G, the budget? Frankly, depends what you're doing. The Intel chips are better at single core stuff, which some types of games still benefit from more than having multiple cores. 6 one, half dozen the other. Just depends what you're doing exactly. But for the purposes of this rig, it had to be an Intel chip because the motherboard that I'm testing is a B360 motherboard, and that's home to the Intel Coffee Lake chips. There we go. Curse much of the PCs, yeah. Much of the PCs are great until you start dismantling multiple rigs. What is my preferred controller? For what? Alrighty. Good. I get some cable management happening soon. This is starting to bug me back here. You go there. I'm going to want that one. It's probably going to be easier if I pull this drive out of here to plug these cables in. Take about a PC 10 minutes, half an hour. It's about a PC 3 hours. No, I can build a PC in like an hour tops. When I stream, because my attention is split in so many different directions, it takes much longer. Which is fine by me because I like hanging out with you guys. Let me do this. We can chat, answer questions, get opinions. But no, I've built PCs in like, 40 minutes. Especially PCs that are relatively simple like this one. Are you a fan of Curb Your Enthusiasm? Don't know. Never watch it. What is the size of your monitor? Depends which one you're talking about. The one you can see, that's my secondary monitor. And that's, I think it's 24 inch? No, 28, I think. How big is it? Where's my measuring tape? Zoop. Yeah, 60 centimeters, so... I've also got a 38-inch 4K one that I'm looking at here with the stream and stuff on it. Okay. Hard drive. Terabyte Western Digital Black. Again, the hard drive I would usually recommend for a build at the budget end would be the WD Blue or the Seagate equivalent. In that price range, which I forget what their branding is for it, but the WD Black is the drive I happen to have spare, so that's what we're using. Well, that's interesting. The drive mount is actually a little ratcheting thing. A lot of the times these ones you just bend apart to mount in, or you slide them in, or these things sort of clip out. But this actually has a little sliding release mechanism. Quite like that. I mean, anything with moving parts makes me nervous, but it only moves like once per build, so... Actually, that needs to go around the other way, doesn't it? So I can actually get to the plugs. Did you make your own VR chat avatar? Did you find it somewhere? Both. The avatar I use is the Brendan trainer model from Pokemon, but I modified it myself for blinking animations, and I modified the face a little bit and the eyes a little bit. So yeah, I rigged it up myself because it wasn't rigged when I got it. It was just the model straight out of the game. Right, where is my other SATA? There it is. Groovy tunes. Right, give me 2 secs. I'm just going to jump up and get a fresh energy drink. Not even going to put the BRB screen, just going to be back. Here I come to serve the day. You ever try competitive Pokemon? Nah. I'm not really the hyper-competitive type. I have too many interests for that. To be competitive in something like that, you have to really focus in on it. And I enjoy doing too many different things to have that much focus, to be really, really good at one thing. I'm perfectly happy being pretty good at a bunch of different things. Variety is the spice of life, and all. Behave yourself. It's the same reason I don't play PUBG or Fortnite, things like that. To be competitive, it just requires a larger time investment than I'm prepared to make on any single thing. Alright, let's start tying down some of this crap. One thing I do like about Cooler Masters cases is they've got lots of little tie points for cable ties. Not all cases do. Or at least not in not in sufficient quantity or location. But Cooler Master cases always have every option you could possibly want as far as cable tie down points go. Casual competitive Pokemon can be pretty fun. Sounds like a conflict of terms to me. Casual and competitive. Why hasn't I been talking about the H310 boards? The 360 boards are basically the same price as the Z370. No, they're not. And the reason you're not seeing many reviews and stuff for the H310 boards is because that type of board is not usually sampled out to reviewers. Because it's not really intended for system builders usually. It's usually for OEMs and stuff to use inside their off-the-shelf cheapo rigs. Most people like us who build our own rigs are unlikely to use the super low-end stuff outside of gimmick rigs. I know I've certainly never been sampled a review board for anything at the ultra low end. I've used them before in rigs, but I've had to buy them myself. Or I think once I special requested one. And even then it was a pain in the ass to get because they don't carry them on hand for reviews. There we go. Cable tidy. Yeah, boy. I mean, except for this mess here, but you'll never see that. Cool. Right, how are we doing here? Oh, will you behave? Thank you. I mean, it's not the prettiest build you'll ever see, but it's pretty tidy. Alright. I think we're ready for the graphics card. Let's do a little think through, a little sanity check. Hello there, Zinzin. How you doing today? Sort of always annoys me a bit because I also don't really care too much to get a competitive side of the game. All my friends are really into the competitive side and want to get me into it. If they don't understand you don't give a fuck about that stuff, then maybe they're not good friends. Did MSI send you a custom gaming one in green, or is that the new headset? No, I mean this is just the Astro A50 I've had for a little while now. Did a video on the comparison between the A50, A40 and A10 microphones. I usually... Cable's all caught up. I usually stream with this. The Sennheiser Game 1 because of the microphone on it's superb. But when I do PC builds, the microphone gets in the way because I'm leaning over stuff and I keep banging the microphone on the case and stuff, which is horrible to listen to on your end. So for this stream, I've got the Razer Siren X mounted on a microphone arm, just in shot actually. So it's a little bit more echoey, but it still should sound fine. That frees me up to use a wireless headset. The wireless headset I usually use when I'm gaming is the HyperX one. That's the newest wireless one. I forget what the bloody model number is. Whatever the new one is. I did a video on it. It's a Cloud Siren Super Duper something fucking... who cares? But that's a really nice wireless headset. The only reason I'm not using it when I'm streaming this is because it's closed back. So I can barely hear my own voice because it isolates so well. And if I can't hear my own voice, it makes it difficult to, when I'm talking to you guys, because I always feel like I'm shouting a bit more. You know, my volume is difficult to control because I can't hear myself how loud I'm talking, stuff like that, you know. So with the Astro A50s, they've got the soft cups and the open backs. So I can hear myself properly when I talk, just like I can with these, which are open backs as well, which makes it easier to talk to you guys. So I know if I'm talking over or under other noise, things like that. So that's why I'm wearing this headset. But yes, I did request the green ones when they were going to send me some, because Astro sent me these, or the PR agency for Astro in Australia sent me these. I did specifically request the green ones. Take a wild guess why. Alright, so we've got the hard drives in. Cooler is done. Fan is in.
Hey, pat on the back. Pat on the back for this guy.
Blazing Phoenix, thank you very much for the sub. Tier 1 Summer King right there. Chat room. Will you please pause for a moment? D-lurk if you're lurking. Spam the love, spam the hearts, button of purple hearts, whatever you got. Before we put in the graphics card, I've just realised I've mounted the rear fan the wrong way round. So at the moment, this fan and this fan...
Hey, pat on the back. Pat on the back for this guy.
Same thing for Potato is Life. Awesome username. Thank you for the sub. Prime sub, that one. Splash the love again, chat room, please. Thank you. Yeah, so both these fans... I wasn't paying attention. Both these fans are pulling into the case at the moment, which is a stupid way to do things. So let's remount that rear fan, shall we? I always make at least one dumb mistake, don't I? When I'm building these things live on stream. Because again, attention split, having a conversation while doing things, always just leads to these little dumb mistakes. I'm glad I spotted it though. I'm glad we paused to do that little sanity check. Give me some derp faces. Once you're done with the love, throw some derp faces down for me. I need the derps. I earned the derps. Where are we? There it is. Gotta have those derps. Silly Blunty. It's this kind of stuff that is the exact reason why one of the first custom emoticons I designed was the derp face. It's exactly this kind of crap. How do you have 2 Stream Decks? I thought only one worked. Ah, they updated the software 6 weeks, 2 months ago. Relatively recently, they updated the software so now you can have multiple Stream Decks hooked up to the same system. So you can have one for your control of your stream and your scene switching and all your essential stuff, and you can have one just for your memes and your emoticons and your all that other kind of stuff, so you don't have to switch pages if you don't want to. Right. By the way, for those who don't know, the way you can tell which way a fan is pulling air is this brace. So on one side you've got the brace because you have to connect the fan to the hub somehow. That's where the air comes in. So this is the side the air comes from. The open side of the fan is where the air goes. Pro tips. So I'm jammed up on that cable. There we go. Does it need a name? Yeah, we haven't come up with a name for it yet. There's nothing really iconic about the build here that springs to mind. It's not particularly small, it's not particularly big, it's not particularly powerful, it's not particularly weak. I don't know. Hey mate, I've got the same mic as you. Was wondering where you got the arm from. It's just a standard microphone arm. I don't even know what brand it is. Just like this $80 arm that I found at JB Hi-Fi. It's a bog standard arm, just like any other of a dozen different microphone arms on the market. The connection is standardized, so you don't have to worry about that. Someone needs to let Taran from Night Techness. You can run more than one Stream Deck. Is there any problem he hated about it? Oh yeah. I mean, I'm sure he knows by now. That dude keeps up on that shit, I expect. But yeah, I've got 3 Stream Decks now. I've got 2 for this rig. And I've got one on my VR rig on the other side of the room. Michael the Medium. Call it Fred. Should name it something that isn't. Name it Boat. How about the derp for the airflow mistake? We could call it Double Suck, because I mounted the fans in the wrong configuration. Just ordered a new PC. It's kind of cheap, but money's a thing, you know. Cool. Gaming PC or just one of those general office PCs? Presumably gaming PC. Stanley would be a good name. Might be a good name. Alrighty. That goes in there, through there. Airflow is right across that. That's plugged in. That's pump. Front panel feeders. That fan is system fan 1. CPU is plugged in. Mainboard is plugged in. USB is plugged in. Front panel audio is plugged in. Front panel controls are plugged in. We do not have any front panel USB 2.0s, I mean, to worry about, so we don't need to think about that. Alright. Graphics card. Mega Maid suck, blue. I mean, the Gigabyte orange doesn't really go with the theme here, but at least it's on the bottom and not on the edge. Man, I forgot how tidy this card is. Look at this shroud. Just a nice little sealed shroud all the way around. I haven't actually been able to talk about Gigabyte graphics cards for about a year because I've been sponsored by MSI up until extremely recently when my contract with them expired. So I can finally talk about other video cards again. Actually, I think the GTX 1050 Ti video was one of the last things I did with Gigabyte before the MSI stuff started, the sponsorship started. So hopefully now I can get back in touch with my Gigabyte peeps and start dealing with them again. Because I do like their gear. It's just that my MSI contract required that I not, you know, for obvious reasons, not advertise or publicize or review the competition stuff. So if you're watching Gigabyte peeps, open season again, folks. Blunty's a free agent again. Zip. Actually, you know what? Because that graphics card's going to come in and out a few times as I switch different cards around, I'm going to go with the thumb screws. So I don't need a tool to swap it out. Mine is named Richard. You can go with Little Dicky. Little Dick. Goes to the rig since you have... Oh yeah, I do have the mustard and ketchup cables over here, do I know? Mixing a bit of orange and red together. There you go. How long was the MSI contract for? A year. 1 year. First time I've ever signed a sponsorship deal for anything like that kind of period. Usually they're just sort of one-off sponsorships or shit like that, but yeah, I decided it was worth trying to see if an arrangement like that would be beneficial to me. And there were good points and there were bad points. But I'm glad I tried it. It's a learning experience at the very least. So if I ever do get offered a long-term sponsorship like that again, I will have some better idea about what it means going forward for me and my content and contract negotiations, shit like that. What I want to ask for. What's the parts list? I'll have a proper parts list when we do some YouTube videos about it, because I'll be doing some comparisons for different video cards in here and gaming tests and things like that with the onboard. What is it? It's what's the chipset for the inbuilt GPU on the i8100? It's the 630, right? Someone Google that for me. It's the Intel 630 graphics chipset on the 8100 i3, isn't it? Reasonably sure it is. So it should be okay-ish. Not anywhere near AMD's new APU units though. Haven't even tested one of those yet. I really need to get onto that. What does your shirt say? It says, I drink and I know things. It's a Game of Thrones reference. Okay. Okay, let's tidy up the desk a bit. Did MSI pay for the sponsorship, or did they just send you free products and give you tips, press events? I'm not actually sure if I'm allowed to talk about the specifics of what the contract was. I'd have to reread my contract to find out if I'm allowed to talk about it, even though it's ended. But it was a bit of both. Like as part of the Dragon Squad, the main drive to it was the trips. So we did the trip to Texas to check out AMD's new stuff. You could have the factory tour and things like that, when the Ryzen stuff was launching. Had the trip to LA, or was that? No, that was the AMD trip, wasn't it? Had the trip to Computex. That was a lot of fun. Gamescom. That was a lot of fun. Zerp. Alrighty. Now, I'm so full of confidence, I'm going to close the case before we boot it up for the first time. And before this bites me in the ass. Thank you very much, Blazing Phoenix, who gifted a sub to Nintiga94. That's very kind of you. Chat room, when we have a gifted sub, spam the double love. Twice as many emoticons as you would usually do to celebrate a sub. Because that's a lovely kindness. Thank you, chat room. Do you think you will go to CES next year? I don't know. I am talking to a company at the moment about a similar long-term sponsorship thing that I did with MSI, but I'm going back and forth with them about the pros and cons that I found with the MSI thing, trying to find a balancing point with what they want and what I need, things like that. So, and if that goes ahead, I think CES is part of their plans for me, but we're in the earliest stages of talking about this at this point, so I don't know. Hope so. CES is pretty fun. I've done it once. With Sony a couple of years back. E3 is a thing as well, with the same sponsorship deal I'm talking to these guys about right now. So, an E3 would be fun to do again. Although, the E3 that I did a couple of years ago was the last E3 before they let the general public in. And now they let general public in. So, much harder to be a media guy when the floors are swarming with people who just have no fucking idea of the responsibility. There we go. Not bad. Not bad. power. This should have, yep, HDMI. Alright, you guys should be able to see this. Where's my inputs selection? Groovy. I am going to need a keyboard. And a mouse. You know what? Let's undo the mouse cable before I plug it in. Maybe we should let the public in for a certain time. Yeah, a compromise might be handy. Because when you're in an event that is ostensibly press only, it does make life a lot easier when you are gathering material as a media guy. At the same time, I realise that E3 is much more useful to a lot of publishers as an advertising platform to the public. Man, this keyboard is filthy. I literally I brushed one of the keys off. Too aggressive. There we go. Alrighty. You're all ready for this? Doesn't appear that this motherboard has any indicator or lights on it. So, that's promising. Not getting any response over here yet though. The i3-8100 has UHD graphics 6. I was right, 630. B. Not getting any monitor action. I do have this plugged in, don't I? I sure do. Come on. Maybe I've got you in HDMI too. I might have had the input wrong on the monitor. Nope. What's the deal, bro? Ow. God, I can't see what I'm doing. HDMI 1. No signal. How unfortunate. Let's try it on the motherboard. Alright, motherboard doesn't have HDMI, motherboard has the other one. Oh, wait, there we go. Well, I don't know why you're so fussy, but fine. Select boot drive, boot media, and select a boot device, and press the key. Right. Man, the reset button is fiddly on this. There we go. There we go. Right, let's do the checks. CPU speed 3.6 GHz, correct. DDR speed 2133, correct. Memory size 16 gigabytes, correct. DDR voltage 1.2, correct. Cores, correct. CPU ratio 36, correct. Correct. So even recognizing the Corsair RAM as Corsair RAM, good. Correct. Storage, it's recognizing the terabyte drive, it's recognizing the SSD is 120, good. It is recognizing the fans, it has set the fan speed at 400 RPMs because we're idling at 37 degrees, which given the ambient temperature is 33 degrees today in Sydney, is pretty damn good. We're like 4 degrees above ambient. As we boot, system temp is only 36 degrees. System fan speed is 1600 RPM, which is all as it should be. Bam! Hashtag first try. That keyboard is very clicky. Yeah, this is the Mecha Membrane keyboard. It's my favorite keyboard. The Ornata Chroma. The Razer Ornata Chroma. It's my favorite keyboard. The keyboard I actually can't see at the moment, but the keyboard I'm using on the system at the moment is that one, which is the HyperX Alloy Elite RGB, which has the cherry red switches on it, which I don't personally like, because the cherry reds are not, and they're mechanical, they're proper mechanical, but they don't have a click, so there's no tactile feedback from them, and it makes me a sloppier typist, and I don't like them as much for gaming. But once the review of that is over, as much as I like that keyboard, it's a really nice keyboard, lovely feature set, MIDI controls, volume wheel, the whole thing, it's beautiful. But I don't like the switches on it personally, so I'll be switching back to this once the review of that is done. Hot term, my modern UFI bias is ever so sweet. I know, right? Remember back in the day where it's all text-based and ASCII-based, and all the frames were made out of ASCII characters and all that kind of crap? Remember that? Old-timers? Horrible. No mouse support. Remember when BIOSes didn't have mouse support? Ugh. 28 in the Gold Coast? Wow, hotter in Sydney than it is on the Gold Coast. Yeah, that just sounds miserable. That just sounds absolutely miserable. Anyway, for the purposes of the recording that maybe or maybe not will go on YouTube, I'm going to end the recording here because we're up and running. So that comprises the build. We're going for about 2 hours. So I'm going to press stop record on that. So if you've been watching on YouTube on a replay or something, thank you for joining us. Tune in for the, subscribe to the main channel for an ongoing series of tests and crap based around this build. For those of you live in stream, I'm not going anywhere.